Tiptoed in the room. I know you gotta have your rest. She said, "Some lay beside me. I've been waiting since you left." She's so sweet to me. Must be the luckiest man alive. Did I thank you, baby? You are the joy of my life. The first time that I saw you, you took my breath away.
My name's Elijah, welcome to Real Life, and you are watching The Real. Our Real kids are practicing the Christmas song, It Feels Like Joy. Come watch on December 18th during service. If you have kids, make sure to bring them to Real Kids every Sunday until the performance. It's going to be adorable. 'Tis the season to share your story with the Real Life family. If you have a story you'd like to share about what real life means to you or how Jesus has shown up in your life, please let us know. We are currently looking for stories to share from our community to encourage others. Email Megan at megan@reallifencw.com. That's megan@reallifencw.com. We are taking a break tonight, so there is no rendezvous. Go spend time with your family and friends, and we'll see you next week. Once again, my name's Elijah Moody. Have a great Sunday, and you have been watching The Real.
Well, good morning. Whether you're joining us online or here at our Chelan campus, we're so glad you're here. Real Life exists to help people find who feel far from God or are far from God, find real life in Christ. My name is Sarah. I work here in doing connections. So this morning, we do have an announcement. Again, the kids are going to do 2 songs this year, and we're all so excited. It's just a highlight of the year. There will be a song for pre-K and kindergarten, and then there's also, toddlers, and pre-K is the first song, and then K through 5th grade is the second song. And so you're going to want to bring your kids on December 11th, 2 weeks from today. Right after service, there will be a practice, and then they will perform on December 18th, 3 weeks from today. So super exciting. As I was thinking about this gratitude series and watching the Apple Cup last night, congratulations, Husky fans. Me, I was a Coug for 1 year. So it's a little more painful for the us Coug fans this morning. But 1989, there was a co-ed intramural football team, and there was a promising young quarterback named Sarah Barnes. In my mind, I could actually kind of throw a football pretty well. And so I would go out and practice, and they were like, hey, do you want to be the quarterback? Because you can actually throw. And I was like, wow, I kind of can. So my friend Brian and I, we would practice, and we'd do patterns, and I could hit them pretty well. I could throw a spiral. It was fun. And I thought, wow, I just can't wait for this game. So the first game came, and I had really high hopes for our team, and it was so rude that the defenders would come and stand right in my face and stand right over me, and they were 6 feet tall, and they blocked everything I tried to throw. They were so distracting that it was so rude, you guys. There were no pass completions. There were no touchdown throws. I would have been such a great quarterback if it wouldn't have been for the defenders. It was also the scene of a big accident because I blew out my knee in Martin Stadium, and it's pretty much hurt me every day of my life since. But so for me, Martin Stadium has a lot of painful memories as I think back. But as we think about gratitude and continue in this sermon series, maybe you're like me where you think, I could be a really grateful person if it wasn't for these 6-foot monsters that are these things that just keep happening. If it wasn't for this pain, if it wasn't for this illness, it wasn't for these money problems, if it wasn't for these relationship issues, I could be so grateful. And so, but I think that adversity gives us a chance to practice gratitude, and that's probably what I should have done, is practice my throwing with some defenders in my face. So I'm really excited for Kyle's sermon this morning. I hope you will too. Enjoy it, and would you just pray with me? Heavenly Father, we gather here today. I thank you for everyone that tuned in or joined us. I thank you that you're with us through the easy times, but also the hard times. And you give us a reason to smile even if things are hard. Because of your great love and your great sacrifice through Jesus, that we have so much hope. Please bless all the volunteers and the kids and all the people working with the kids. And speak through Kyle this morning. In Jesus' name, amen. Will you stand and sing, please?
I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that
kind of way. It was my tune till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my tune till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all they know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. When you called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love, To the darkness you give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
You may be seated.
I lost my keys in the great unknown. Call me, please, 'cause I can't find my phone. This is the stuff that drives me crazy. This is the stuff that's getting to me lately. In the middle of my little mess, I forget how big I'm blessed. This is the stuff gets under my skin, but I've got to trust. You know exactly what you're doing, might not be what I would choose. This is
Good morning. Welcome, y'all. We made it. We survived Thanksgiving. Nice job. Got to welcome everybody. Brewster, good to have you with us. Sure everything's pleasant there in the middle school in Brewster. If you're online, tuning in, wherever you are in the world, thanks for tuning in. If you made it through the windstorm here in Chelan, thanks for being here in the pack. My wife and I survived Thanksgiving. We made pretty much our annual pilgrimage to the motherland, to Boise, Idaho. And we experienced all things Boise. Went to Boise State football game, had finger steaks. My oldest daughter forced me to hang out at Payette Brewing Company. I tried to save as many souls as possible. I didn't participate in any of the debauchery. We have a new thing that we add to our journey down there, and that's Crumble. Have you been to Crumble? The cookie place? Yeah. Saw all the fam. All of my family that was available, all of Darlene's family that was available. Yep, that's what we did. We celebrated my mother-in-law's 80th birthday party. Obviously, I haven't met her. There was a lot. It was a whole week of family, of people, of family. Sometimes, and maybe not you, but sometimes you have to have some kind of recovery after a Thanksgiving. Amen. Yeah, well, good. Somebody hates their family as well. No, I don't hate my family at all. I love my family. I'm just, you know what? Somewhere my family members are talking to somebody else like, yeah, we had to spend the whole week with Kyle. So I'm a lot too. I get that. I'm too much. I get that, all right? So this morning, I want to just wrap up this gratitude series. So I wanted to talk about how to recover from, this is real clever, how to recover not from Thanksgiving, from Angstgiving. Like maybe you didn't have the best of time, or maybe your life isn't going the way you want, or maybe hanging out or bumping heads with your family members is an ongoing thing. So how do we take gratitude, being thankful, and make it active and applicable and daily and go way beyond November? That's what we want to do. Now, it's going to be super active this morning. So if you came in all like toasty and you're just going to snuggle and take a nap, normally that's okay, but not today, all right? I want you, and I'm not commanding you. It's not a cult. You can do whatever you want. But if you would get out your phone and be ready to use it, that would be great, all right? It's appropriate. Now, listen, I know I do this all the time, and I don't like to take orders from anybody either. I get that. So if you're like, no one's going to make me take out my phone, I get that. That's who I am, all right? But please, to participate, if you have your phone with you, take out your phone. Some of you are staring right at me and like, I dare you to make me take out my phone. Listen, you don't have to. But when you sit right in the third row, and I know you really well, and you're just staring at me, and you're on the creative team or my pastoral accountability team, and your last name's Rogers, you got to take out your phone. All right? Listen, Brewster, I know it seems like I'm a long way away, but look at me, how big I am on your screen. Please just take out your phone. Now, if you're at home, this will be weird, but take out your phone. All right? Everyone, we're gonna participate, because if you showed up at Jen Bordner's boot camp class, this is what it would be like. All right? I want to go, in the next 30 minutes, I want to go through a Angstgiving, post-Thanksgiving recovery workout. And we'll all do it together. Jen Bordner leads a BFit boot camp. I know, I've said this before, and no one believes me. I go 3 times a week. I know. Jen doesn't like it when I do that either. Like, Kyle, you're such bad representation of the class. I know. I've been going for like years, and I still look like this. But imagine what I would look like if I didn't go, all right? So there's certain steps to the boot camp class that we always take, all right? First of all, let me tell you, you can't come and just watch, right? Hey, that'd be weird in so many levels. I'm just here. I don't want to participate. I just want to watch, all right? You have to participate. If you're going to show up, you have to participate. Now, listen. You participate at whatever level you want. I've been going for 5, 6 years, from the very first couple months she started. And every time someone new comes in, we go through the warm-up that we're going to do in just a second. We go through the warm-up, and they're like, ugh, I'm never going to survive this. And I'm like, no, that's how everybody feels. Just go your pace. You can't go the pace of Mae Broom. No one can keep up with her, all right? She's elite. If you want to feel good about yourself, go Pastor Kyle's pace, all right? You just got to be you. So I'm going to give you some steps on how to recover from an Angstgiving, and it'll be like going through a workout. So let's go through the warm-up a little bit, all right? Let's review. Warm-up at boot camp is usually as hard as everything else, but the review is easier. So if you haven't been here a while, let me connect you with where we've been. We said a couple weeks ago that being thankful, being a grateful person, that gratitude brings a ton of health benefits. Like, it's not just pastor talk or the Bible says or God tells you to. It was God's idea first, but there's benefits to being a grateful person that go way beyond church or Christianity or religion, all right? Like, look at these. People who are grateful have more relationships. They're in better physical health. They're in better psychological health. They have more empathy for people around them. They sleep better. Some of you, if you could trade that today, I'll be grateful if I just get a better night's sleep. Wouldn't that be fantastic? It improves your self-esteem. When you feel grateful, you're not looking to get more stuff and you feel good about where you're at. It increases your mental strength. That they did this study that grateful athletes achieve more. That gratefulness just kind of calms you down. It takes away the stress. When you're a grateful person, you can just kind of relax. So there's great benefits, and I would love for you to benefit from being a grateful person. And if you're here this morning and you came in like, man, I've had a horrible week. I'm in a bad mood when I walked in. That's okay. That's why we're warming up. All right? We're just getting warm. Second, a couple weeks ago we said, gratitude makes what we have seem like enough. I thought I came up with that phrase. I didn't. I guess I stole it from somewhere. Because I'm driving over to my daughter's house in Boise. I go by this grade school, and that exact phrase is out on the sign in front of the grade school. I said, well, that principle must be listed in my sermons. But I looked it up, and somebody else said it first, okay? But when you're grateful, can you imagine this? When you're grateful and you look around at your stuff, it's like, I don't need anything else. This is enough. I've got enough friends. I've got enough money. My house is big enough. I'm good. And then last week, I think we talked about that gratitude keeps us from feeling entitled. You can't be a grateful, spoiled person. We live in kind of a world, I'm not going to beat up the culture, I'm just going to make some observations, maybe it's my own life, where we just feel entitled, like you owe me, you owe me, you owe me. Your mom makes you dinner, and you're like, yeah, that's what you should do. You're the mom, make my dinner. Your dad, hey, I need cash, I'm going out. You're the dad, give me my money. So, and no one likes to be around people like that. So gratitude's like, no, I don't owe anybody. In fact, I'm going to look around at places where I can give. Then last week we said, being an ungrateful person is like a half-completed circle, that there's something missing. That when we're in relationship with people and no one is saying thankful, no one is showing any gratitude, it's just like, what is wrong here? And you may be in a relationship like that. Like, it feels like you keep giving and giving and giving and getting nothing back, and they just take you for granted and everything. And it's like, what? There's something missing. Thankfulness closes the circle. Thankfulness. This is a big deal. You're like, Kyle, why are you spending 4 weeks on this? This is a big deal. The more grateful you are, the better your life's going to be. I guarantee it. So this morning we're going to talk about, okay, how? We talked a lot about what it means to be grateful and why you should be grateful and the benefits of being grateful. And now we're going to talk about the how. I'm going to give you, normally we don't speak like this, but I'm going to give you the top 5 ways to give thanks. All right? If you still have your phone out, say yip, yip. All right. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. Maybe you don't have a phone. My dad's not here. My dad has a phone, but even his mobile phone, he still has to use his finger to dial it. It's a rotary phone. That's the only thing he felt comfortable with. It's about this big, but... So I'm going to give you 5 ways to give thanks, and they're very, very practical. In fact, some of you, this happens a lot to us. If you're listening online or even visiting in Brewster, or you're visiting here in Chelan, you're like, This isn't a real sermon. And I'm like, I say it all the time. When you go back to a real church with a real pastor, you can get a real sermon. I'm not going to try to wow you with any special Greek words or anything. I just want to give you 5 practical ways to be grateful, because the more grateful you are, the better your life will be. So now that we're warmed up, let's get to the first circuit. At boot camp, most of the time there's like 5 different circuits. You go for about 6 to 7 minutes. There's a couple different exercises each one, but you don't do the same thing for 45 minutes. You keep moving around. So let's get to the first circuit. The number one way to be thankful is change the way you speak. Change the words you use. Think about what you say and how you say it. There's this horrible verse in the New Testament that my parents used to use on us all the time. And the guy by the name of Paul wrote it. And we talk about him all the time. Paul was a dude who hated Christianity, who hated Christians, who thought Jesus was a joke, tried to persecute people who were Christians, and then he became one. Then, once he put his faith in Christ, he took the rest of his life, travel around, trying to help people to take the teachings of Jesus and apply them practically in their everyday life. So Paul's writing this letter, and it's a letter like on joy and how to be happy. And in the middle of it, he says, do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure. And he quotes the Old Testament, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. That when you don't grumble, when you're a positive person, even though the rest of the world around you is crooked, depraved, and complaining, it'll be different. He said, when you decide to be positive and not negative, when you decide not to grumble, look what happens. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky as you hold firmly to the word of life. If you care about people around you, if you're a follower of Jesus and you care about people around you, and you wish, you hope that they would know Jesus, then be a positive person. Stop grumbling. Stop complaining. Paul says, you will stand out so much being positive and not complaining and not grumbling, because there's plenty to complain and grumble about, right? When you do that, you'll stand out. You'll shine in darkness. And people are going to say, tell me more. Listen, I don't want to pick on Christians, but why is it that it seems so many times when we bump into Christians, they're super negative? I mean, they should be the least negative people in the world. Paul said, don't grumble. All right? So here's a practical step. If you still have your phone out, say, yip, yip. All right? We don't need it yet. I just want to make sure you got your phone out. Rogers, you guys got your phones out? All right, then make sure. Listen. Here's a practical step. Decrease your GPH, we've talked about this before, and increase your TPH. And don't be measuring other people's, measure your own. How many grumbles do you have per hour compared to how many thanks do you have per hour? Listen, there is always something to complain about. It takes no ability whatsoever. It just seems like grumbling is something we all do and we're all good at. We complain about stuff. The weather, your teacher, your boss, your parents, your kids. Just think about what it would be like to the people around you that you really cared about. That if you're positive and say encouraging things and look for ways to be excited and positive about stuff instead of complain. Everyone loves being around someone like that. Middle school boys, you want a girlfriend? Stop complaining. Dudes, listen. If you're positive and upbeat and you quit putting down people and you quit complaining about stuff, girls are attracted to that. Trust me. Listen. Because of my boot camp body and my positive attitude, that's how I landed the lovely Darlene. Listen. How much do you complain an hour? How much do you show appreciation per hour? I dare you. Just check yourself this week. Not even this week. The rest of the day. Don't be checking each other. Spouse, and you kids, you're checking your parents. I'm telling you, it'll be so different, okay? You got to change the way you speak. Now, we're going to do a group exercise. How can you be thankful? You stop complaining. How can you be thankful? How can you express that more? Right? I mean, you can talk to people and everything, but most of the way, let's just go people 40 and under. Most of the way we express our feelings and thoughts is how? Did someone say text? Text, yes, text. What else? People over 60, like myself almost, Facebook. Right? Under 30, Instagram. Cool people, Twitter. Dirty people, Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat, but someone told me I'm not supposed to have it because it's dirty. I do have my thankful dances on TikTok, though, and you can look them up. So let's do that. Let's do that. How many got your phones out? Say yip, yip. Brewster, you have your phone out? If you're at home, I don't know how you're going to do this. It's going to be weird. I want you to send a thankful something to somebody. All right? And here, I want you to be this. I want you to be specific and sensitive and searching. Bam. And it's coming up on the screen so you'll know. Pick somebody. Somebody to say thanks to. Maybe, listen, let me give you some examples. Take your phone, take a picture of the person next to you, put it on Instagram, and say, I'm thankful for this dude. Or if it's something that somebody's done for you the last couple of weeks or something, that you, listen, while you're doing that, saying thanks to somebody and posting it, you can, where did I do that? That's something really clever. I would just be interrupting you now. So you can take a picture of somebody. When you've done that, say yip, yip. Oh, slow class. While you're doing, you know what? How hypocritical for me to ask you to do that and me not do that. On the way up to the stage right now, he doesn't know it, is my man Paul Hunter. Paul, come on up here. Here comes Paul. Paul, you have no idea how thankful I, the band, and probably all of you are for Paul also. Paul drums in the band about 95% of the time. Everybody else trades off. Come on out, Paul. Paul and I have known each other since grade school. Paul I used to hate because we had the same piano teacher, Mrs. Bandy, and we'd go to piano recitals, and Paul would get up there and be like, and I get up there and like, so I never liked Paul when he was younger because he practiced. Listen, that's just this much. Paul, and nobody asked him to do this, Paul schedules all the musicians. Paul calls and gathers band meetings every month. Paul organizes, and we pay him nothing. He organizes an agenda. He makes sure we're on top of, we're ready for worship nights. He's already working on December and Christmas Eve. He's always a step in front of everybody else. He is, if you've been around drummers at all, he is as good as drummers you'll find anywhere, let alone in a small church in the middle of nowhere, right? He is fantastic. And the attitude that he does it with, you ask any band member, when they show up to the band and Paul's there, it's like everything's going to be fine, Paul's here. So, I want to be specific that I'm talking to Paul. I want to be sensitive to his needs and what he wants. And he has told me many times, Kyle, if you could just bring me up on stage and talk about me, that would be great. He feels very uncomfortable without a drum set in front of him right now. He's so exposed. But I wanted to be searching and finding and talking. So, talk to some of the band members and talk to Graham. And so, this is what we did. We ordered this jersey for him. Paul's a big Steve Largent fan. And every time we do kind of a football thing, I think Paul always borrows Graham's Steve Largent's jersey, right? So we ordered you your own. It's not here, because this is what happened. We ordered you Russell Wilson Seahawk jersey. Then we thought, well, maybe that wasn't fitting. So, listen, I don't know how much this thing costs us. Probably a couple $1,000s or something, but it's not enough. It's not enough, Paul. I appreciate everything you do. The band appreciates you. Everyone that listens has no idea that they appreciate you so much because you make everything so much better when it comes to music. So thank you very much. I love you. We'll get that to you soon. Thank you. All right. First circuit done. Second circuit. How many of you sent something on your phone? Say yip, yip. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Next circuit. Take control of your thoughts. Keep your phone out. Take control of your thoughts. All right? You're in charge of them. I love, the Bible has a ton of stuff to talk about this, and it's in line with psychology and stuff too. Paul, the same guy we just talked about, says, summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds, by meditating, by thinking on things that are true, that are noble, that are reputable, that are authentic, that are compelling, that are gracious. Think about stuff that's the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. What you think about matters. Paul says in another place, take every thought captive. Like when you think it, grab it. And ask yourself, is this true? Is it not true? Is it good? Is it not good? Is it going to build me and others up, or doesn't it? You can change the way you think. Now listen, I don't want to be insensitive at all, but you can challenge your own story. I know a lot of you have been through a lot, and I'm not diminishing pain in your past, but listen, you are not your past. You are not the first chapters of your story. If you're in the middle of a rough time right now, it's just a chapter, you guys. There's a better chapter coming for you. You can challenge your own story, okay? In our young married small group that meets on Sunday nights, a couple weeks ago, we watched a little video and talked and what you think about how you feel about yourself depends on who you talk to the most. So in your life, who do you talk to the most? Yourself. What's yourself saying to you? When you talk to you, and I thought I was the weird one, because I talk to myself all the time. But everyone in the group says, yeah, I do that all the time. What are you saying to you? Encouraging things, positive things, noble things, best things, gracious things, beautiful things? Listen, it's time, and I don't care what age you are. If you're 16, 17, 18, or you're 80, 89, 90, you can begin by thinking differently. Change the way you talk to yourself. What is it you say? You know, and maybe you need to have a talk with somebody else and say, yeah, I'm always so negative about myself. What can happen in your life as you start thinking differently, then maybe you start acting differently, and then your feelings are going to come along behind that. But all great life change starts with the way you think. All right, next circuit. Invest in generosity. Invest in generosity. Paul says, you will be made rich in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. And if you're not a church person or you're listening online, you're like, oh, here it goes. Pastor Moneybags looking to get money. All right, that's not us. If you've been here before, you know that's not us. Whatever I'm going to say in the next 5 minutes has nothing to do with we want your money. All right? Listen, at Real Life, since the beginning, we've always said we have something for you. We don't want something from you. God's a motivator, people giving him. He does that with you, great. But that's not what this is about at all. You being a generous person makes your life better. The more generous you are, the more grateful you are. The more generous you are, the better you feel about yourself. Everyone, even people with a lot, know that. Giving away stuff feels better than getting stuff. And if you're like, I don't have very much, of course that's not true. If you grew up watching Gilligan's Island, say yip yip. All the old people. Yeah, on Gilligan's Island, Mrs. Howell, Lubby, Thurston Howell III's wife, said anyone who says that money can't buy happiness doesn't know where to shop. All right? So a lot of us, like, if you don't have a lot, you're like, I'd be a lot happier if I had stuff. You wouldn't. The good stuff, the stuff that lasts forever, is when you give and you make a difference in somebody else's life instead of take and take and take. Listen, it's okay to get, but if you're always getting, you'll be miserable. So there are times in your life where this happens, and I would encourage you to never ignore a thought to give. All right? You ever thought, hey, I should send that person a text and just say, I'm thinking about them. Hey, I should stop by and get that person a coffee. Hey, that happens to me a lot. Like people's names come to mind. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, I'll just start praying for whoever I think of. Or during the day, I'll think about somebody else. Listen, that happens all the time. And about 50% of the time, I respond. The other 50% is like, too busy. Like, hey, I should send Cash a text that says, yeah, I'm so grateful for you, Cash. Well, commercial's not on, and I'd have to stop my show. No, move on. You know, I try to be a giving person. I try to reach out to people. But listen, it's so hard because it's not natural. So I would encourage you never ignore a thought to give. Come on out. Not sure who's coming out. And the winner is? Oh my goodness. Wait, I asked for 2. Why do I got 3? All right, come over here. Come here. What'd you have? Looks like some baby gang. Please say your name.
Riot.
Right, where did you spend Thanksgiving Day? Where'd you have dinner Thanksgiving Day?
Denny's.
Denny's in Wenatchee. So we're taking we're taking a funda for the Monteleones. They don't have any friends, and all they had was the Grand Slam egg breakfast with turkey. All right? State your name.
Levi.
What grade you in, Levi?
5th.
5th. You're getting so old so fast.
Dash.
Dash, why do you have that stupid jersey on?
Because it's the best team in the NFL.
For real? All right. Why no girls out here? Were they scared? He chose you. All right. That's not right. That's nice. When Miss Darlene talked to Riot about this, I think it was last week or so, my wife says, who would like to go up with Pastor Kyle, and we're going to talk about giving to the kids, and of course no one raised their hand. And Riot raised his hand, and Darlene says, you know what, he's going to make fun of you and everything, and he's like, I'm used to it. So we got that going for us. All right, tell me why you're up here. Who?
Coins for kids.
All right, talk. Who wants to talk about it?
All of us.
Levi, tell me what's going on. You can't touch the mic.
Why?
You can't. Why can't you touch the mic? Because you're not licensed and you haven't been to seminary. Tell me about Coins for Kids.
We raise money to pay for food for kids and families that can't afford it.
Super. And what did we get last year? Do you remember?
No. It's right there.
Maybe if you spent less time worshiping Patrick Mahomes and more time caring about poor kids. Have you thought about that, Dash? Yeah, I thought so. Have you come up with something? Maybe all these kids who don't have food would like a nice jersey. Do you remember anything?
No.
All right. Riot probably does.
You wasn't here last.
All right. Obviously, whoever selected you did a poor job, all right? Right, tell me. Here we go.
Last year we did 13 baby chicks and 10 blankets and bedding for kids.
My favorite.
We gave goats to families who needed food, and we bought clean water to bring to the community.
Did we plant a grove of trees too?
Yeah.
Man, we're great. All right. Do anyone remember how much we raised last year?
No, I don't.
All right. Maybe next year we can have 3 girls come out. They'll be prepared, and they'll have the answers. And Dash, you missed an opportunity. We gave a goat last year. You could have said, we gave away Patrick Mahomes, the greatest of all time. But you missed that, so you gave away Dan Marino. That was nice, the greatest of all time. All right? Now, here's the thing. How do we get money to pay for all that stuff? Because we raised quite a few $100s last year because that took a lot. All right? What do we do?
We just put it outside of different areas around the church, and people can put as much money as they want in here.
How much? Have any idea how much we'd like to raise? Yeah.
$1,000.
All right, $2,000, Levi, thank you. Yeah, $1,000 is a lot of money, $1,000. But the economy's going so well and inflation's down that I think this would be a good time. Look, anyone can give when you have a lot. You're like, hey, Kyle, you're being a jerk because you're trying to raise money for real life. No, we're not getting any of this. The kids, under the direction of Pastor Allen and others, decided that they would raise coins. They bring their own coins, right? Right? But then we're asking you to give also. So this will be in the back. It's usually at the check-in table area. Come again?
Sometimes at the entrance.
Sometimes at the entrance, all right? So you can give your coins, you can put it in there. I guess you could go online and make a donation. Just let us know what it is. You could, I was going to say you could hand it to one of them. I would not do that. But it's a big deal. We've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years, and it gets bigger and bigger every year. But listen, we can't buy all the big stuff unless you all get involved. And you should never ignore a thought to give. So if you're thinking, I'd like to help out these kids as they help other kids, this would be a good time. You guys did fantastic. This warm applause is for you as you walk up the stage. Nice job, you guys. All right, let's jump to... Yes, don't talk to the kids as they're leaving, Maya. Carve out thank time in your day. Carve out thank time in your day. I'm going to move through this quick. I do this every few years, all right? But Paul, again, says, listen, taking the teachings of Jesus and making them practical, he says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. That's impossible to do. You won't remember. You won't do it. By nature, we're not thankful people. It doesn't come naturally. Maybe there's one amongst us, but most of us have to work at this thing, all right? So I came up with this thing quite a while ago, that seems to work for me. We all have a phone. You got your phone out still? Yep. Somebody's motivation is really dwindling because it was like, yep. All right. We use our phones all the time. Most of us have calendars on our phone. My wife and I share the same calendar, so if one of us puts something on there, we always know what's going on. It's really fantastic. So why not use your phone to help you be a more thankful person? So here's what we came up with a while ago. My birthday is July 4th. Yeah, I didn't do anything, I was born that day. Okay, so that's 7/4. It's the month of July. It's the 4th day. So if you take that and you turn it into a time, that would be 7:04 a.m., put a reminder on your phone. It takes you like 20 seconds, right? You go to your calendar or your reminders, and you put it in there. And I'm telling you, every single morning at 7:04 a.m., I get a reminder that says, be thankful. Because I don't do it naturally. Now, sometimes it comes up, and I'm like, thanks for my house, and then move on. Other times, I stop, and I'm like, who am I thankful for today? Sometimes I'll stop and say, I am thankful. I actually will text them how grateful I am for them. But what would happen if you put in that? Now, I got a friend whose kid heard me talk about this a few years ago, and he put it in there, and I think like his birthday was March 15th. At 3:15 a.m., his alarm's going off to remind him, all right? So adjust that. Make sure it's at a time where you're going to be awake, all right? But that's practical. It's a practical way to get in better shape being a gratitude person. That will be a step to get you moving in the right direction. All right? So carve out time, put it on alarm, put it on a reminder. Last one, and we're done. Make relationship count. Spend time investing in people. It's why boot camp works. If you were to come to boot camp the last couple weeks or whatever, I think they even had to put new rules in. Because I think we have a max of 40, and we have up to that all the time. We have 30 plus people coming. And sometimes there's too many, and they had to restrict it. But the boot camp class works, A, because Jen and Sarah, who lead it, are so fantastic at it. But it works because we could all stay at home and do these same things. The accountability of showing up is one reason it works for me. But I love the people who are there too. Showing up with people who are moving in the same direction and trying to do the same things and trying to get fit and struggle and they complain like I do and they're thankful for when we're done and they get mad at Jen, but they still love Jen, all that stuff. It works because of the other people who are there. Jesus was asked about the rules and about all the laws once when he was on earth. And he sums it up, and we use this verse all the time. It kind of sums up the entire Bible. But Jesus says, if you want to get it right, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. And that wasn't two separate commands. That's one command with two parts in it. They're like, hey, what rules do we follow? The 10 Commandments? The 600 others we've added on that nobody asked us to? What rules do we follow? And Jesus says, don't worry about the rules, just do this. Because in the process of doing that, it covers everything else. So I would make relationships count. I would start here, with God. And if that's new to you and that seems weird, whether you're in Brewster, or online, or here, okay, that's all right. But just consider this. If there is an all-creating, all-powerful being who loved his creation so much that he found himself distant from it because of sin and all the junk that brings, and sent an answer through Jesus, it might be worth checking out a little bit. Here's what I've discovered in my almost 60 years on earth, and most of those trying to be a follower of Jesus, is that when I'm connected well with God, you get the weight off you. Not necessarily physical. I wish that was true. The closer I get to God, the skinnier I get. But the closer I am to God, when that stays a priority, when all the other junk in life doesn't get in the way of that, I just can relax. If you've been here a while or you know me well, you know that I love being in control. I think that when I'm in control of a situation, nothing bad can happen. That's not true, but all my life I've thought that. There are times, especially in the last 10 years of starting real life, and in the last 5 or so years of trying to get the community center, Lake Chelan, up and going, there's been times when I thought, how is this going to happen? And I think, oh, I can't do it. And there's this stress that comes off when I say, man, that's yours, God. That happens daily, many times a day, where I like, yeah, God, that's you. That's your department. I can't do that. It's not on me. I told you I was in Boise, and again, I like to be in charge. And my daughters know that. And so my daughter got tickets to the Boise State football game on Friday. It was a lot of fun, all that stuff. But the night before, I said, what time should I show up at your house? She said, why don't you come about 8:30? The game starts at 10. And I'm like, 8:30, is that going to give us enough time? And she's like, Dad, if you're going to get all grumpy and grouchy and try to control this whole thing, it's not going to be any fun. So I need you just tell me you're just going to relax. And I said, you're ugly. I said, I hate it when she's right. Yeah, and then you have to argue like you're 12. Yeah, well, you're a dummy. I said, you're right. Man, I had the greatest time, y'all. I showed up what time she told me. I drove where she told me. I got on the shuttle bus like she told me. I get off the shuttle bus. We go to this tailgating double-decker bus, the friends of her. And I'm like, what is this? I don't even know these people. We walk on. They hand me a breakfast burrito. I sit there, I eat my breakfast burrito and coffee. Then we walk over to our seats, not that far away. We're sitting in the sun. We can see perfectly. We have extra blankets. We're having the greatest time. Boise State ends up winning. Afterwards, we walk out and think, oh, now we got to wait for that shuttle bus. But I don't say anything. I don't complain. We walk right out. We walk right on the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus takes us back to Payette Brewery. my daughter has made reservations for us to participate in the Black Friday Porter and Stout event. There's food truck. I mean, I can't tell you what a relief it is just to relax and know someone else has got the thing under control. I don't have to worry about where we're going, what we're doing, how we do it. Can you imagine if your whole life was like that? That God's like, hey, can you just calm down? I got this. Listen, with God, also with other people. I got to get moving, but when you're a positive, non-complaining, grateful person, you can invite people into a party you already started. When you enjoy your life, even though it's not a perfect life, when you can be positive, even though there's negative around you, people love to join you. It's like, come on in. Yeah, I'm messed up. Yeah, so am I. Yeah, my past I got a lot of pain on my past. So do I. Come on in. When you make relationships count with God and other people, you're on your way to experience a life you're always meant to experience. So I got to move quick, but here's the next steps as we wrap up. What do you do now? All right? It's been super practical. Let me give you 3 practical things as we wrap up. Again, the blue cards are super important. We give them out every week. You should have received a handout in Brewster and Chelan when you came in. The blue card's there. If you're listening at home, you can go online or on the app. You can communicate with us, prayer requests, comments, whatever. But we want you to keep track and apply what we've talked about this today. So, 3 quick ones. Number 1, start a relationship with Jesus. If you're listening wherever you are, maybe you're at home and you're like, man, this thankful stuff is fine and all that stuff, great. But it all starts with Jesus. Jesus, the hope of today and your hope for the future. Jesus makes you better at life and makes your life better. Not perfect, but you're on your own. You roll the dice. With Jesus, you have a confidence and a hope and a security, both now in this life and the one to come. And that relationship starts by you just saying exactly where you're at. Yeah, listen, I know I can't save myself. I need a Savior. Jesus, I'm inviting you into that place in my life. And that's as simple as that. You can come up and share that with Billy and Brewster. Come up and talk to me afterwards. Put that on the blue card. But you got to start. You got to start with Jesus. Second of all, if you are a follower of Jesus, your life should overflow with thanks through God's filling. That Christians, followers of Jesus, should be the most grateful, non-grumbling, positive people. Not syrupy, fake people. You've met people who follow Jesus and they're going through such difficult times, but they're like they still have this sense of positive hope, even though their heart is in pain. Man, if you love Jesus, if you're a follower of Jesus, that should bubble and overflow to the people around you. Last one. I'll probably hit this later on next month too, because it's something I'm struggling with right now. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination. I know that's kind of a cliche thing, but we're always in such a hurry to get somewhere else that we miss enjoying the right now. When I was in middle school, I just thought, man, life would be so much better if I was in high school, right? Then you get to high school and like, man, if I could just get to college. Then you're in college. If any of you went to college, maybe you experienced this. You're like, if I can just get through this next test. Well, then there's another test. If I can just graduate from college. That was me. If I could just graduate from college, and I didn't care about graduating. If I can graduate from college and marry Darlene, my life will be perfect. That didn't happen. If I could just be married, everything's going to be good. Then we thought, okay, life's not great, so you know what's going to make it great? Let's have some kids. Yeah. Then like, okay, well, the kids didn't do it. You know what? If we just had our own house. If I had a new truck. If I had better friends. If I had more friends. If I started a church. And the problem is, all those things, it's good to have goals and stuff, but what my struggle is I wish I could go back and experience those things again. Because I missed out on them. When my girls were little, I was like, I just got to get them into high school. I just got to get them graduated. I just got to get them out of jail. You know, I mean, yeah. You just have to, and I don't want to miss out on stuff anymore. I have to, but I'm not natural like that. I have to constantly stop and say, look around you. Enjoy where you're at right now. You're standing on a stage of a church and people you love, people in Brewster are listening, people around the world, wherever you are listening. And it may be only a few hundred people, but I enjoy it. I love doing this. I'm like, move over, Joel Osteen, I'll take this. I don't need any more. This is enough. I want to be present and appreciate where I am right now. And I think that makes gratitude easier. Bill, I'm thankful for you. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Here in Chelan, pray with me. God, thanks. We say that all the time. Sometimes we mean it fully. Other times it's just a word. But we're grateful for Jesus. We're grateful that we don't have to save ourselves. We're grateful that there's a rescue. We're grateful that there's hope in the midst of pain. God, I ask that we who follow you, that would be clear and bubble out to everyone around us. And for those of us who are still searching, I pray that this would be the day that they connect with you in relationship that makes them grateful the rest of their lives. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Man, thanks so much. Thank you for being here. Thanks so much. Have a great day. See ya. Love ya. Bye.